Captain's Log, Supplemental. Upon arriving in Earth space after our initial test of the quantum slipstream drive, my crew and I find ourselves amidst a dangerous and potentially explosive situation. Due to unknown causes, we are now trapped in an alternate reality where the Federation's Starfleet no longer exists. Our homeworld subjugated under Romulan law and slavery, and now I find myself staring down the barrel of a gun. Literally.
I said don't move. Thomas, search them.
What the hell is going on?
Stand down, Lieutenant. Don't resist them.
But Captain!
Stand down.
Seems as if you have an itchy trigger finger in your group, Captain.
Anyone would be, especially when they're looking down the barrel of a gun, Jack.
You never mentioned you had a Romulan coming down with you.
Ambassador Rattay is not affiliated with the Romulan Empire.
You're saying she isn't Romulan? She has pointed ears!
That's right, Captain. How can we take your word for it?
You have my word. And so far, I have not broken my word, Jack.
What's in the bag?
Medical equipment.
You're a doctor?
I'm the chief medical officer.
Senior officers?
I wanted to assure you that we have nothing to hide from you.
And the other two?
Lieutenant Commander Wiseman, my chief tactical officer, and Ensign Stevens, one of our doctors.
I see. You say they're doctors.
We are doctors!
We'll have you prove that statement, Jack.
Bring them.
Hey, get your hands off me!
Just calm down, Commander, and there's no need for manhandling, Jack. Just lead the way.
The Romulan stays here.
Captain, I must protest. This is...
You are hardly in a position to argue.
Ambassador?
I'll be fine, Captain.
She won't be harmed?
You've been honest with me so far, Captain. No harm will come to the Romulan.
Very well. Lead the way.
Several hours ago, the Romulans began their routine bombardment, trying to keep us in check.
The Romulans bombard the planet from orbit?
It's catastrophic at times.
From a tactical standpoint, it would be the best way to snuff out a flame of resistance.
While I don't approve of the statement, I have to agree. They decimated half our movement.
Just last week, they wiped San Francisco right off the planet.
What is the rest of the system like?
For the most part, relatively calm.
Define relatively.
The dilithium mines on the moon...
Dilithium mine?
Yes, the station that attacked you was an armed dilithium mine.
I take it only the weapon stations are online.
Our intelligence indicates that the mine itself will come online in a matter of weeks.
I imagine the bombardments have been getting worse.
Here, you can see the results for yourself.
Doctor?
Already on it. My bag.
Over 5,000 dead. And this is all that remains.
My doctor will do what he can, but without dermal regeneration, they're going to be in for a long healing process.
Dermal regeneration?
It's a medical treatment we give to people for severe burns and other such injuries to the skin.
This is insanity.
This is the reality we face.
And with each day we get closer to that mine coming online, the attacks get worse and worse.
We shouldn't take it out on innocent civilians.
Explain that to the Romulans. They're the ones that keep doing this.
This is inhuman. I didn't think the Romulans were this cruel.
As far as we can tell, this is how they've always been.
Why haven't you made contact with Vulcan or Andoria?
We lost contact with Andoria several years ago. Vulcan only as recent as a few months ago.
Not that those pointy-eared fools did anything to help.
What do you mean?
Shortly after the fall of Earth, the Vulcan government signed a non-aggression pact with the Romulan Senate.
That would make sense, considering the Vulcans of the 22nd century were active supporters of neutrality and non-aggression.
You'll forgive me if that doesn't exactly give me comfort, Commander.
Wait, I didn't mean...
Don't take him too personally. He hates the Romulans with every fiber of his being.
Understandable. I apologize for all this, Jack. It's not deserved.
No apologies are needed, Captain. What we need is help.
What kind of help? We're hardly in a position to fight off the entire Romulan fleet.
We need to start somewhere. The liberation of this planet might just spark the flame of rebellion in this quadrant.
Unfortunately, we cannot oblige your request, Jack.
Excuse me?
To do what you are asking, you would be asking for my ship and my crew to fight a war we were never intended to be a part of.
So you let us continue to be slaves and be hunted?
No. I wouldn't wish that, but it's not my decision alone.
Chain of command.
More like she won't force her crew into a fight they probably won't be able to survive.
Well, that was rather blunt. She is correct. If we are to help you, it would have to be voluntary. I cannot order people, my people, to die for something they didn't expect to be fighting for.
I see. Well, until you can come to a decision, I would highly suggest...
Jack! Jack!
Thomas, what's wrong?
Romulan soldiers. They're sweeping the village. They're rounding up all the civilians and forcing them outside.
Rounding them up?
Is this unusual treatment?
Well, there was only one other time. Oh no. Grab the rifles!
Rifles? Jack, there's barely any of us left to fight right now.
Just do it! Get every able-bodied person you can find!
Jack, what's going on?
They're going to start killing civilians!
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Jamestown. Its continuing mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations. To boldly go where no one has gone before.
This waiting is killing me.
And what would you prefer to be doing?
Anything other than hiding behind a giant lump of rock waiting for engineering to get off their collective butts.
They are working as fast as they can. The trip through the rift left us in a position of weakness.
Weakness is in the eye of the beholder.
And how do you come by that reasoning?
Let's see. The Jamestown is more heavily armed than that ship we fought. We could be, I don't know, destroying the station on the surface of the moon?
Shran, you know the rules of engagement right now. We're not going to fire unless fired upon.
That doesn't mean I have to like it.
Then I'll simply suggest that you keep your personal thoughts on the matter to yourself.
Lieutenant Zell, to the ready room, please.
Saved by the communication system.
Enter.
You asked for me, Commander?
Lieutenant, please, have a seat.
What can I do for you, sir?
Lieutenant, am I correct in assuming that you believe that we cannot return to our own reality?
I've only just begun my analysis of the limited data we have on the rift, Commander.
Give me your report on what you have found.
It seems that the rift we encountered was already in a state of flux, and when we powered up our slipstream drive, it began to interact with the rift.
According to sensors, the rift began to follow the ship.
Yes, at a rapid pace, too, keeping up with us even as we neared the slipstream threshold. Once we engaged, the rift intercepted us.
Any thoughts as to how the rift sent us here?
As for the coordinates, that was a simple mathematical error. As for this reality, I have yet to come up with an explanation.
Thank you. Please, Continue your work. I will need a report to give to the captain upon her return.
Speaking of the captain, why did you allow her to go down with the away team instead of going down yourself?
The captain and I have a unique friendship and understanding. If she wishes to lead an away team, she has that right. I will not interfere with that right.
If you'll excuse my confusion, Commander, isn't that breaking several Starfleet regulations?
It is. However, Starfleet captains consistently ignore that rule and lead away teams all the time. Ever since the age of Captain Kirk, captains have opted to leave their first officers in charge of the ship. While it is true that this is indeed dangerous, it does spark a boost in morale when a captain is willing to take charge and lead the way.
I can understand that. The crew will be more willing to follow someone who themselves is willing to take risks and lead the way.
Precisely, Lieutenant. While Starfleet regulations continue to prohibit this, captains continue to ignore the rule.
I see. Well, that answers that.
If there is nothing else, Lieutenant, you are dismissed.
Aye, Commander. I shall be working on that analysis.
Very good, Lieutenant. Dismissed. Commander Piclar to Commander Scott.
Scott here, Commander.
Commander, what is the ship's repair status?
Shields have been restored, main power is back to 85%, and the armor system is also repaired.
And the hull damage?
That is going to take some time, even with the engineering battalion working alongside our repair teams.
Are you saying you are going to be unable to complete the task, Commander?
Not at all, Commander. I am just saying we may have to bide a fair while. Without a dry dock, the repair will take time. Simple as that.
In your opinion, Commander, is the ship combat capable?
She is as ready as she can be, Commander.
You don't exactly sound confident, Commander.
The problem, Commander, is that even with our weapon systems repaired, the rift has left the power reserves in an unusual energy imbalance.
Can you be more specific, Commander?
Well, Commander, let's just say that ever since we arrived, the warp core has been fluctuating. Generating power, sure, but consistent levels of power is impossible to manage.
What is the source of the fluctuation?
If I had to make an educated guess, I would say that it is because of our dilithium crystals.
The warp core isn't re-energizing the crystals, or are they fracturing?
They are being regenerated, but the core isn't drawing the necessary power they normally produce.
Could that be due to the slipstream drive?
It's a good possibility. However, without a proper investigation, I cannot say for certain.
And how long would an investigation take, Commander?
Several days, only due to the fact that we're still repairing battle damage. Otherwise, I would happily see to the investigation myself.
I want you to assign someone else to oversee the repairs, Commander. We need to figure out the cause of the drain. This is your priority.
I'll do my best, Commander. I'll have the engineering battalion commander take over the ship repairs.
Very good, Commander. Piclar out.
Oh, not even a day out of dry dock and we've been stranded, shot at, and broken the Prime Directive. We're off to a lovely start.
It could be worse, Commander.
I don't follow you, Lieutenant.
We could have always ended up in the Borg section of the Delta Quadrant. And all the Borg could have been Ferengi.
Borg that are out for profit? Now I've heard it all.
We are the Borg. We will drain you of your latinum. Resistance is profit.
Funny, but we could only be so lucky. Have you checked the EPS relays on Deck 12 yet?
I have a team on it right now. They've coaxed about 75% more energy out of them, but many need to be replaced.
Damn. I was hoping it wouldn't come to that.
So that's a problem.
The EPS relays on that deck run directly to sickbay and the transporter system.
And if we start pulling them, we'll lose one or the other, at least temporarily, till repairs are made.
Correct. Even with a bypass, we could still lose power to one or the other.
Portable generators. Could keep one of them running.
Yes, but those generators weren't exactly designed to sustain a sickbay or the transporter room.
Well, guess it's a good thing we don't need sickbay. I heard Dr. O'Connor treated all that he could before beaming to the surface.
Right. Pull the sickbay EPS grid, run the portable generators, and have Engineering Team Delta from the Jamestown and Team Gamma and Delta from the Engineering Battalion assist. I want those relays repaired as soon as possible.
I'll have the team sent immediately. God forbid the Romulans decide to show up again.
So far, Lady Luck hasn't exactly been in our favor.
Hey, you never know when that'll change. I'll be in touch, Chief.
I'll be in engineering. There's still an imbalance in the warp drive system that I want to correct.
All right, that's enough. Everyone drop your disruptors now.
You heard the man. Drop him.
As you can see, Captain, Romulans are butchers, killing even when they hear the truth.
You didn't exactly stun the Romulan soldier, Jack.
What's one less Romulan to deal with tomorrow?
Killing will only beget more killing, Jack.
When they stop attacking innocent people, then I'll consider an alternative.
It's only going to be a matter of time before the Romulans step up their game and bombard the planet until it's reduced to molten rock.
That's where you're wrong, Commander. Why kill off your entire working force?
Well, they aren't gonna get the chance now, are they?
You killed an unarmed and surrendered prisoner. He had done what you asked. What'd you kill him for?
One less to deal with, as Jack said.
Thomas, take the rest of them back to the camp, and for God's sake, don't kill any more of them.
But Jack,
Now don't question me again. I'm sorry, but killing a soldier about to kill is one thing. Killing an unarmed prisoner is another.
Your people lack discipline. It's no wonder you're losing this war.
Excuse me?
Your people look to you for guidance and leadership. And yet, your second-in-command kills whenever he feels like it and contradicts your orders whenever he can.
Thomas just doesn't know better.
As long as you continue to let him have free reign over your decisions, you're never going to make any significant advances.
And you think you could do better?
I wouldn't even dare consider the idea. It's not in the nature of a Starfleet officer to...
Jamestown to Captain Kennedy.
Kennedy here. Go ahead, Commander.
Captain, long-range sensors are detecting several incoming signals at the edge of the system.
Can you get me specifics, Commander?
Negative, Captain. Sensors are still working at less than peak efficiency. However, the signals are moving at warp 2, standard warp speed for in-system travel.
How long before they arrive?
Approximately 10 minutes, Captain.
Captain, if I may.
Speak freely, Jack.
Commander, Jack here. From where did you initially detect the signals?
Sensors only just picked up the signals. The initial point of detection was in orbit above Pluto.
Oh no. Commander, you better prepare yourself for combat.
Care to enlighten us?
Captain, you've kicked up a hornet's nest. This is the Romulan System Defense Fleet.
Capabilities.
3 heavy cruisers, 5 frigates, 2 anti-fighter destroyers, and 1 command battleship. Each vessel is armed with disruptor banks and plasma torpedo launchers. The battleship has the capabilities to launch fighters.
Commander, did you get all that?
We did, Captain. Shall we beam you aboard?
Do you have a transporter lock on the away team?
Yes, Captain. We can beam you aboard at any time.
6 to beam aboard.
6?
We're far into this universe, Jack. Any help you can give us will be appreciated.
Very well, Captain.
Energize. Doctor, get to sickbay. We may need your services.
On my way.
Captain, if what Jack says is true, we might have the advantage in firepower. But theirs is just as powerful as ours. I don't know how long we could stand in a firefight.
Romulan ships have a terrible time maneuvering at more than half impulse. We found that out 5 years ago when we hijacked a Romulan transport and tried to escape to the SETI Alpha system.
SETI Alpha system?
It's the system that the Enterprise and the Columbia attempted to evacuate the flotilla back in the 22nd century to. We were hoping they had made it there.
So what happened to the transport?
Do you even need to ask?
Good point. Even so, Jamestown isn't in the best of conditions, Captain. We might not be able to fend them all off.
We have to try. What we saw down there.
I know, Captain. We'll give those Romulan cowards everything we can.
And then some. Battle stations! Commander, status report.
The Romulan fleet is still in approach. However, the fleet has increased their speed. They will arrive in less than a minute.
All hands, this is the captain. We're going to be going into combat. I know we haven't had much time together, but you all have handled yourselves with integrity and honor. I won't lie to you. The Jamestown is outnumbered and outgunned. However, if we stick together, we will make it through this trial by fire. Look to your fellow shipmates, be they Romulan or Federation, and they will look to you. That is all. Kennedy out.
Sensors online. Romulan fleet on approach.
Open hailing frequencies.
Hailing frequencies are open.
This is Captain Felicia Kennedy of the Federation starship Jamestown. To the approaching Romulan flotilla, please respond.
No response.
I know you can hear me, Romulan fleet. We request that you cease hostilities.
Captain, you're Terran.
Your point being?
To them, Captain, you have an advanced starship that was probably built in hiding by the resistance movement. They're not going to answer you. Not in the way you're hoping.
Captain, I'm detecting weapons being powered on the Romulan vessels.
And so it begins.
Romulan vessels are breaking into 3 groups. The battleship is taking the direct center.
They think they can take us down pretty easily.
Typical Romulan arrogance.
Shield status.
87% is the best we can do, Captain.
Better than I expected. Commander Scott is living up to her heritage.
Great-granddaughter to Starfleet's best engineer. Are you at all surprised?
Not one bit, Mr. Shran. Take us in.
Weapons are standing by, Captain.
Engineering teams are standing by, Captain.
Captain, if the Romulans plan to follow standard protocol, they'll begin launching fighters any moment now.
He's not wrong. Sensors are detecting 15 new signatures have just appeared from behind the battleship.
Have the runabouts and the shuttles prepped for launch.
If Jack's intelligence is accurate, we'll need to disable the anti-fighter ships before we can launch our own small craft.
Agreed. Target the closer of the 2 anti-fighter ships.
Looks like they've invited us to the dinner table.
Let's not keep them waiting. Fire!
Direct hit to one of the anti-fighter ships. Their shields are down to 65%.
They're not going to like that.
Port shields hit, down to 75%. Correction, 70%.
Lieutenant, come to starboard, 45 degrees.
Hit them again, Commander.
Their shields have collapsed. Damage to their propulsion and weapon systems.
Target the 2nd anti-fighter ship and fire.
That last hit damaged our impulse engines, Captain. The helm is getting slow to respond.
Do your best, Lieutenant.
Damage to our shields and armor systems, Captain.
Divert emergency power to the shields and armor systems.
Captain, the frigates are moving in for a strafing run on our starboard side.
Come to course 170 Mark 55, full impulse.
Enemy fighters are targeting our shield emitters, Captain.
Divert a blade of armor systems to cover the damaged shield emitters.
The Romulan battleship is moving in, Captain. Plasma torpedoes are being prepared.
Warp drive status.
You're going to run?
We may just have to, Jack. I'm sorry, but we're outgunned here.
Warp drive is still offline, Captain. Commander Scott wasn't able to fix the imbalance in the warp drive system yet.
So, we can't run even if we wanted to.
Shields are offline on decks 4 to 6. Ablative armor is failing.
Sensors detecting 5 more vessels on approach vectors, Captain.
Your orders, Captain?
Computer, stand by auto-destruct sequence. Authorization Kennedy Omega 97.
Captain, we're being hailed.
On speakers.
This is Admiral Sato of the Starfleet ship Enterprise to the starship Jamestown. Come to course 234, Mark 209. We'll deal with the Romulans. You've earned a friend today.
Enterprise, but I thought...
Let's not take the offer for granted, Shran. You heard the Admiral. Come to course 234, Mark 209.
Captain, Enterprise and 4 other Starfleet vessels are engaging the Romulan ships. They're damaging their shields, but not much more.
Let's give them a hand. Lock quantum torpedoes and fire.
We've disabled 3 of the Romulan vessels. The others are turning about and going to warp, Captain.
Your luck. It continues to amaze me, Captain.
I'm not going to take it for granted. Open a channel to the Enterprise.
Channel open.
This is Captain Kennedy to Admiral Sato.
Captain Kennedy, pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, Admiral. We have a great many things to discuss.
That we do, Captain. I don't have much to offer, but I invite you aboard the Enterprise.
I would be honored, Admiral. May I bring along a representative of Earth with me?
You may, Captain. I look forward to meeting you in person, Captain. Sato out.
Captain, it seems fortune has once again found you.
This might be the first step in a longer journey, Commander.
A step in the right direction, Captain. And if I may say so, that was an impressive display of firepower.
The Jamestown wasn't built for war, Jack.
Unfortunately, Captain, it may have to become that in the process.
I'll be the one who decides that, Jack. In the meantime, I'm going to suggest you visit one of our replicators. You're dining with Admiralty tonight, Jack.
I promise to be on my best behavior.
We'll see about that. Stand down from battle stations. Commander, you have the bridge.
Aye, Captain.
You have been listening to Star Trek Lost Universe, Episode 2, Fight or Flight, written and directed by Jeff Lincoln. Featured in the cast were Silas Carter as Captain Felicia Kennedy, Miles Rand as Commander Picard, Chloe Hatherley as Lieutenant Commander Sophia Wiseman, Laurie Smith as Lieutenant Commander Ashley Scott, Lana as Ambassador Rattay, Jeff Lincoln as Lieutenant Kolar Shran, Justin Cabanting as Dr. O'Connor, Aaron McDonald as Lieutenant Commander Karina Zell, Corey Hilton as Jack, Alejandro Castro as Thomas, Mark Allen as Admiral Sato, and Eric Ulp as Engineer McGrath. Star Trek is copyright to CBS and Paramount Pictures. Any infringing claims are unintended, including but not limited to music and sound effects. This non-profit production is created for the enjoyment of the fans. Star Trek Lost Universe will continue in Episode 3, Choices, coming soon to StarForce Media. Star Trek Lost Universe Episode 2 is dedicated to the memory of Leonard Nimoy. Rest in peace, and live long and prosper.